Listen carefully. What I'm about to say might sting, could make you uneasy. It might lead you to rethink every choice you've made so far. But it could also free you. You've been living a false life all along. People have told you who to be, what to do, how to behave. Since you were a kid, they've molded you into a shape you didn't pick. And the worst thing? You went along with it without a fight. Every time you look in the mirror, you see someone you don't fully know. That reflection isn't really you. It's built from what others expect. You're a creation of their opinions. Need proof? Think about all the times you've kept your real thoughts hidden, scared of judgment. Recall every moment you took a path you didn't want because someone convinced you it was correct. And here's the hardest truth. You've turned into your own jail. You don't need anyone else to hold you back because you limit yourself. You've learned to wear a mask. Now you think that mask is who you are. But it's not. Deep down, you know it. There's a part of you quietly shouting, desperate to break out, fed up with living by others' rules. Yet you push it down. You drown it out with distractions, excuses, and the same old daily grind, as if time never runs out. But it does. Every second you stay like this is a second you can't reclaim. So tell me, how much longer will you wait? How much longer will you just watch your own life pass by? Here's the reality. Life doesn't start when you earn a degree, buy a house, or find a partner. Life starts when you discover yourself, when you're brave enough to look inside and accept what's there. The good, the bad, the shadows, the light, everything. But that's frightening. Finding your true self means tearing down what you're not. And that hurts. It means walking away from relationships that don't fit anymore. It means challenging beliefs you've held forever. It means facing your dark side. Those parts you've hidden out of shame or fear. You know what I mean, right? Those thoughts that hit you in the dark. Those memories you try to erase. Those insecurities you act like you don't have. That's your shadow. Until you deal with it, you'll never be free. Here's the twist. What you fear most about yourself is actually what makes you real. Your darkness isn't your foe. It's your greatest strength. But only if you embrace it. Only if you stop running. Look at yourself hard. How much of what you do is truly your decision? How many of your dreams are yours and not someone else's? How much of your life is fake? They've convinced you that being yourself is risky, that not blending in is wrong, that being unique is a mistake. But the truth is, blending in is the real trap. Every time you force yourself to fit, you drift further from who you are. When that happens, you weaken, become easy to sway, just a piece in someone else's game. But there's a way out. It's not simple, but it's real. Let go of needing approval. You don't need permission to be yourself. You don't have to explain your wants, your choices, your journey. You don't need everyone to get you because most people don't even get themselves. Consider this. The ones who truly change the world aren't the rule followers. They're the ones who break them. The ones who defy what's expected. The ones who live boldly as themselves. So, do you dare? Do you have the guts to stop acting for others and start living for you? If you don't, you'll stay stuck in this borrowed life, in this strange play where you're stuck in someone else's part. But if you choose to, if you decide to find yourself, get ready. It won't be easy. People don't want you to shift. They like you predictable, manageable, staying inside their lines. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've turned odd. They'll say you've changed. And they'll be correct. Because once you uncover your true self, there's no turning back. You can't stay the same after seeing your real potential, after realizing you've always had the ability to choose, to shape your life, to be free. So here's the challenge. Be bold enough to see yourself clearly, without pretense. Be brave enough to let go of what doesn't define you. Be fearless enough to accept who you've always been. Because life doesn't begin with achievements. Life begins with honesty. And that honesty is you. Now that you've heard this, now that you've felt it, what will you do with this truth? Here's something no one mentions. Finding yourself isn't a finish line. It's a journey. There's no moment where you say, that's it. I completely understand myself. It's a constant path, an inner struggle between who you are and who you were taught to be. Every day you'll face a choice. Keep deceiving yourself or keep exploring who you are. Want to know the biggest hurdle? Attachment. clinging to what you're used to even if it harms you, holding on to a fake version of yourself just because it feels safe, sticking to people who don't enrich your life but offer a false sense of stability. And worst of all, clinging to the old you, the timid, agreeable, scared you, familiar but weak. Because what's familiar pulls you in, even if it's a cage. So, are you ready to release it? Because finding yourself means dying many times. Not in body, but in mind and heart. You must let your excuses fade, your fears vanish, your limits crumble. You have to bury the version of you built to blend in, and that stings, it's frightening. At first, when you strip away the lies, all that's left is a void. That void terrifies, but it's also freedom. Most people never fill it with their true selves. They stuff it with more distractions, more outside approval, more chaos. They tell themselves they're okay, that change isn't needed. And they keep circling, never growing, never waking up. You can't be like them. If you've come this far, if you're still hearing me, it means something in you won't settle. Something that's been yelling for years, urging you to see past the stage you're living on. So here's a question that could shift everything. If fear didn't hold you back, if you didn't owe anyone an explanation, if others' opinions didn't matter, who would you be? How would you live? What would you change? Because that answer, the one you've dodged your whole life, that's who you are. But knowing it isn't enough. Dreaming it isn't enough. You have to act. Because if you figure out who you are and sit still, it's worse than staying blind. You'll carry the weight of a truth you didn't dare to live. And that weight crushes. So, will you take that first step? After this, there's no undoing it. You've got two paths. Brush it off and live like nothing's changed. Or embrace it and let it spark you awake. To become who you were always meant to be. It's up to you.